So today we're going to be talking about the basics of long division. Now, before we jump into our example for today, there's a few things we need to cover first. The first being our different components that make up our division. So when we talk about long division, there's three things that will make up your long division. It's your divisor, your dividend, and your quotient. Now, what is your divisor, what is your dividend, and what is your quotient? A short answer, your quotient is your answer. Whatever your answer is to your question, that's what we call the quotient. So if something is divided by something else, whatever you get, you call it the quotient. Your dividend is what you are dividing. So let's say what you are dividing. So if you say divide 100 by 10, 100 would be your dividend. You're dividing 100 by 10. Your divisor is going to be what you're dividing by. So in the same example, 100 divided by 10, 10 would be your divisor. Let's say we have 100 divided by 10, what we just talked about. Well, how do we set up our long division with our dividend, our 100, and our divisor, our 10? Well, you're going to have something like a half box, right? And your half box is going to house your dividend. So 100, your dividend, goes inside your half box, right? Inside your half box. Your divisor goes on the outside, to the left of your half box, like this. And I'll make this a little bit bigger so we can kind of see it a little easier. So 10 on the outside, 100 on the inside. And your quotient, whatever your answer is, will go on top of that half box. So this is going to be your quotient. So this was your dividend, and this was your divisor. So this is the placement of your different components. Whenever you're given a question like this, 100 divided by 10 or anything else like that, you're going to set up your long division to look like this. Your dividend goes inside your half box. Your divisor goes to the left, outside your half box. And whatever your answer is going to live right up here. So now we've covered our different components and their placements. Let's move on to something we call the remainder. Now, when doing long division, your multiplication table is going to be absolutely crucial. And you'll see why, especially when we start getting into things like the remainder. Let's say we have, not using the same example as last time, let's say we just have 20, something easy. We know our multiplication table tells us that 5 times 4 gives us 20. We know that. 5 times 4 gives us 20. So if we wanted to have a question, say 20 divided by 5, we know that answer to be 4. Now, what is the remainder? In this case, there is no remainder. That's because 20 is a perfect multiple of 5. So you can almost write, you don't necessarily need to write this, but you can almost write that your answer is 4 with a remainder of 0. 4 remainder of 0, because there's nothing left over. It goes into it perfectly. 5 times 4 give you 20. So when you divide 20 by 5, you're going to get that perfect 4. But that's not always the case. Let's say we have, and just so you know where this came from, this was 20 divided by 5 equals, let's say 4 remainder 0. Let's say we have 21 divided by 5. Now, does 21 divide by 5 evenly? Does 5 go into this perfectly? No. Here's where your multiplication table comes into play. We know that 5 does not go into 21 perfectly. And that's when we have these remainders left over. Division is about getting as close to your number as possible. We don't want to go over it. We can equal it, yes, like we did here. There's no problem equaling. Actually, if we equal it, is best. Let's try to equal it. However, if we can't equal it, can we get very, very close to that number? if we can get close to the number, we'll take whatever got us closest, and then we'll write the difference as the remainder. So if we know that the closest we can get to 21 is 20, well, what gets us to 20? 4, right? 5 times 4 gets us to 20. So 21 divided by 5, the closest we can get is getting to 20, and that's when we get that 4 as the answer. However, this is not a perfect answer. What's the difference between 20 and 21? 1. So 21 divided by 5 is going to be 4 with the remainder of 1. So 21 divided by 5 gives you 4 with the remainder of 1. That's your notation for remainder. It's what's left over. And you can kind of see this if we were to replace that with 22. 5 also doesn't go into 22 evenly. It's not a perfect multiple. You can look at your multiplication table and see that. So what's the closest we're going to get without going over? That same 20. But what's the difference between 22 and 20, right? The closest we're going to get is at 20, so we're going to still have our 4 here, but our remainder is going to be different because it's a slightly bigger number. Our remainder in this case is going to be 2, right? The difference between the closest we can get and our actual number that we're trying to get to is 2. So our remainder is going to be 2. So when you're doing long division, you'll have all your setup. Remember, you're going to have your half box and you have your answer up here. But if you don't go into it perfectly, you'll have some remainder whatever number. So this is just a brief introduction to what a remainder is, because they will be pretty crucial when you're trying to do all of your long division. You won't always have a perfect multiple when you're dividing. Now that we've talked about remainders, there's a few easy steps that I want to talk about first that will help you tackle your long division. So when handling your long division problems, there are 4 simple steps that you need to do. Depending on how big your divisor and your dividend are, you may need to repeat them, but they're very, very simple steps. If you can understand and master these, you can handle any of your long division problems. So the first thing you want to do is divide. It may seem pretty self-explanatory, but the first thing you want to do is divide. That's our first step. And I'll show you how to use these steps, and it'll make a lot more sense when we tackle our example. But the first thing you want to do is divide. The next thing you want to do is multiply. All right, so just for now, write this down, try to remember them. The second thing you want to do is multiply. The third thing you want to do, subtract. The last thing you want to do is pull down. Now, depending on, like I said, how big your divisor is and how big your dividend is, you may need to do this multiple times. So there's an honorary 5th step of repeat as needed. So if you need to keep going, start back over and do the same thing. Once again, it depends on how big your dividend and your divisor are. So we're going to use these steps to tackle our question for today. So let's jump straight into that. So here we have 123 divided by 5. So we're going to take our steps that we just talked about and tackle this long division. Once again, knowing your multiplication table is going to be crucial here. It'll save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. So we want to start with our first step, divide. Now, obviously, we want to divide this, 123 by 5. But I don't mean divide all of this. What I mean is we're going to divide our first number. We're going to tackle each section at a time, and we're going to kind of move across. And you'll see what I mean by that. But our first one, we're going to focus on just the first digit. So out of 123, we're looking at 1. 5 going into 1. So dividing 1 by this 5. Can we do that? Well, let's look at our multiplication table for 5. We have 5 times 0, 5 times 1, 5 times 2, and I'll stop here for now. 0, 5, 10. Remember, we want to not go over our number. We are technically doing 1 divided by 5, right? What's the closest we can get to 1 divided by 5? Because 5 does not go into 1. 0. The closest we can get is 0 without going over. So we're going to put the answer here, right? So we divide it. Our next step says multiply. Multiply. Well, what are we multiplying? Well, whatever we put up here, we're going to multiply by our divisor. So 0 times 5 is what? 0. So now we've done divide and multiply. Next, we're going to subtract. What do we subtract? We're going to subtract the first numbers. So that's going to be 1 minus 0. Gives you 1. Next, we have pull down. What do we pull down? We're going to always pull down the next number, the number right next to it. So in this case, it's going to be the 2. Not the 3. We're not pulling down both of them, just the 2. So when we do that, we have 12. Now, we have more things to do here. There's still a lot more numbers to look at. So because this is big enough, we're going to do our honorary fifth step. Repeat. Go back to the top. Except this is what we're going to divide into. So now we want 12 divided by 5. What's the closest we can get to that without going over? Remember, we're going back to the top, dividing 12 by 5. Well, let's see. Using our multiplication table, if we were to do one more, 5 times 3, that's over. So we don't want that one, right? The closest is going to be 2. So we're going to have 2 here. 2 is going to be our answer. We divide it. Now we multiply. What do we multiply? We're going to multiply this 2 times the 5. The thing we just put up here, multiply by your divisor. So 2 times 5 gives you 10. Next, we subtract. Just like we did before. 12 minus 10 gives you 2. Then we're going to pull down. Now we're going to pull down the 3. We're going to, once again, keep pulling down the next number. So if there were more numbers, we would continue this process and keep pulling down as needed. So this is going to be 23. And since we're not done, let's repeat. So 5 times 4, let's add another one. And then 5 times 5 gives you 25. I'll move that over. You can see it a bit better. 5 times 5, 25. All right? Okay? So now we want to start back at the top. Divide. 23 by 5. 23 divided by 5, what's the closest we can get? Because clearly 23 is not here. The closest we get without going over is 20. So our answer here is going to be 4. Next, multiply. 4 by that 5 gives us the same 20 we just talked about, right? We multiplied. Subtract now. 23 minus 23. Then we pull down. But what do we pull down? There's nothing to pull down now. So we technically have to stop here. There's nothing to pull down. So we are done. We are done. Now, this looks kind of funky. Remember I said the quotient, this is going to be our quotient, our answer. Have you ever seen an answer 0 to 4 like that? No. Because there's a leading 0, we can technically drop it. That's not going to be needed. We don't need that 0. So when it comes to our answer, we can remove that leading 0. But 24 is not the full answer because there's something here. We can't go into 3, right? We can't go into 3 and there's nothing else to pull down. We have to stop here. This is what we're going to call our remainder. Remember, our answer, when we can't go into it perfectly, is going to have your quotient be your answer, the thing that you have, you're going to get closest to, with remainder, whatever is down here, remainder 3. So this is how you're going to do your long division. The closest you're going to get is 120, and that's when you do 24 times 5. 24 times 5 gets you that 120. The difference between them is going to be the remainder of 3. So this is your long division answer, your quotient. here is your quotient. And as you saw, by doing these 4 easy steps and repeating as necessary, you should be able to handle this and anything that looks similar to this. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today. And if you did, be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. See you again next week.